It wasn't to be for Novak Djokovic at Indian Wells this year as he goes crashing out in 3 sets to the Dutchman, Botic Van Der Zandschulp. So before we go anywhere, give us a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and now let's get stuck into this. This is the post-match reaction. Novak Djokovic loses to Botic Van Der Zandschulp in 3 sets, and the sets that he did lose, they were convincing. Not really fun to watch as a Djokovic fan. It just didn't seem like himself out there. He looked like he was really struggling in the first set to even get any sort of rhythm going whatsoever, and found himself 6-2 down in no time at all. Second set looked like he just tried to just grind it out a little bit, try to just get it working. And then in the third set, I think it was a little bit of both. A little bit of him falling apart again, lots of unforced errors, but also good recovery skills from Botic Van Der Zandschulp, and got himself the victory. 6-2, 3-6, 6-1. Monumental win for Botic. And up against a 24-time Grand Slam champion, he was just fearless. His first Masters round 3, second top 10 win of 2025. How do you spell Giant Slayer? B-O-T-I-C. And there he is. He does seem like a bit of a cool customer against some of the biggest players. That is the one thing I'll say about Botic Van Der Zandschulp. He seems unflappable, doesn't he? When he comes up against these big players, doesn't really look like it bothers him. He goes out, he plays his game. If he's playing well some days, it just flies off his racket. Not much emotion. And if it's not going well, not much emotion either. So no matter what happens, he seems a bit of a cool customer, and he can beat some of the biggest players in tennis. Jose Morgado's reaction here, saying impressive from the Dutch, but sets 1 and 3 were so bad from Djokovic, tough to watch. I think we've got to give Botic some credit as well, because it takes 2 to tango. He still has to play good tennis as well, and I think he was playing well, but it was enhanced by the fact Djokovic wasn't really playing at his best. And like the BNP Paribas Open says here, from lucky loser to big winner. And he stuns the 5-time Indian Wells champion Novak Djokovic. Well done. I mean, from being a lucky loser. And that's what he wrote on the camera after winning. Lucky loser. He's got them through. He's beaten Kyrgios. Obviously, Kyrgios retired. We'll speak about that on a podcast tomorrow. Obviously, Kyrgios very distraught. The injury seems to be what looks like the end of his career, really, if we're being honest. It doesn't look like it's going to get much better for him. And Van Der Zandschulp seems to be the worst player that anyone can play if you're a little bit under the weather, a little bit off your game. We see here he's had wins over Alcaraz, Nadal and Djokovic at high-profile events. No quarterfinals in his last 50 ATP tournaments, though. Current 27-match losing streak when losing the first set in ATP main draws. Crazy. Like Gil says here, hard to describe how strange Botic's last year has been. Seems very, very strange. But he's one of those type of players. He can turn it on certain days, and some days it just doesn't work at all. But he's quite an exciting player. Just lacks a little bit of emotion on the court. I think that sometimes helps the crowd get behind you, but not everybody can be the same. And like Gil also says here, Djokovic has not made the quarterfinal in the month of March since 2016. Wow, that is a big statistic. That's 9 years. Let's put that into perspective. I sometimes forget we are in 2025. Next year it's going to be 10 years since 2016. That's actual insanity. Looking through some of the stats of the match, though, from the first set, one of Djokovic's worst sets, says Ollie Tennis here. 14 unforced errors, only 4 winners, only 1 out of 19 unreturned serves. 36% of points won, 48% serves in, and Botic 6-2. Yeah, I mean, the second set, he sort of turned it around a little bit, looked a bit better, but then as soon as Botic was able to reset and start playing his tennis again, yeah, it just didn't go well for Djokovic. And this is what he had to say afterwards. He said, it doesn't feel great when you play this way on the court. They said, you seem to be struggling a bit with your wind out there. And maybe even something with your stomach. Curious. Is that a function of just not having played that much? How do you anticipate being able to kind of find your rhythm moving forward? And Novak said, I mean, it's always something happening, but I don't want to talk about it. I mean, no excuses for a poor performance. Just doesn't feel great when you play this way on the court. Congratulations to my opponent. It's just a bad day in the office, I guess. He said, you know, I regret for the level of tennis, considering how I practice these days. To be honest, the difference between the centre court and the other courts is immense. The ball is bouncing on the centre courts higher than some of the highest clay courts, to be honest. Yeah, just struggled a lot with that, with the rhythm. Yeah, so and it definitely showed. He didn't look like his normal flowing self on the court. He was playing a lot of looping shots as well to Botic's backhand. I just think he was just struggling to really get into any sort of rhythm in a rally. And Botic just took full advantage of it. If you're going to have a disjointed match, he seems like one of the worst players to come up against and gets another big scalp. Other things for Djokovic, really. Indian Wells, we've got Federer putting out a post here saying back-to-back Djokovic losses against lucky losers at Indian Wells. And if we go back to last year, Luca Nardi it was who beat him in 3 sets. So maybe it's just something going on with the lucky losers and Novak Djokovic at Indian Wells. How many more Indian Wells will we see from Novak Djokovic? That's the question. And how many more times will we see Djokovic rock a cap like this? This is how he was returning serve once today. I mean, if all else fails, maybe just change your style. I think he really was a bit out of sorts today. And I think this look sums up the match perfectly. I think we've got to give credit to Botic, but Djokovic just not on his game today. So Novak Djokovic out of Indian Wells at the first time of asking. Botic Van Der Zandschulp through again. Can he go even further in this tournament? Let me know in that comment section below. And should we be worried about Novak Djokovic this year? He hasn't really had the best year. Other than that Alcaraz win, there's not really been that much to scream and shout about. Maybe he's building up to a big Roland Garros. I can't wait to see him back on the clay courts. But let me know your thoughts in that comment section below. And if you haven't done so yet, give us a like, subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow for more roundup of Indian Wells action.